So we're back, or I'm back, I should say. Everybody else is in bed, but I have got to finish this for Artist Elite, so I'm just going to keep cranking on it. We got the pretzel music playing right now, Flight by Aphelion, supplying the soundtrack to our stream. I'm probably going to phase in and out. There's not going to be as much interaction. Ray and Perry are not with me tonight. They are working on their finals. And I'm working on this. Gavin's with us. Thanks, Gavin. I'm going to work on this, get this uploaded to Artist Elite so that they can have it for their promotional piece. And then I'm going to bed for tonight. And I'm going to wake up tomorrow and finish my other obligations. I have a page I got to get done for Jimmy. I got a page I got to get done for Artist Elite. And I have a digital painting class, online class that I'm developing. The due date was today. And we had a canvas outage. I think it was part of that Amazon cloud service outage. Anyway, I missed my digital painting class deadline, so now it's been moved back to January. But I'm gonna try and get it done before Christmas is my goal. So anyway, gonna be down here in the basement working hard. But we're gonna see if we can't crank through this and get this finished. Really digging the design, having a good time with it. Let's come in here and let's just finish up some of the details of the face. It's just looking a little undone. One of the greatest comic artists ever lived, Mobius. He said he would change his style, whether he was working on sci-fi or whether he was working on his Western comics. And I really wish that's something I aspire to do. I think right now I sort of have the same style no matter what. And I think very few artists can sort of pull that off. But I do know. Hey, Jared! I'm doing good, buddy. Glad to have you on in the chat. Also have my good friend Gavin on, watching probably on either Twitch or Facebook. Gavin in Texas. Shout out to my friends in Texas. We were going to be there for yes, Inkall. Jared, have you seen Jodorowsky's Dune, that documentary? If you haven't, you should, because basically Inkall is his basically his movie version of what he wanted Dune to be, and it's widely regarded as one of the best graphic novels ever written. So I think I ordered it. Never received it. Anyway, hey, Crypto Comics Matt is back too. Good to have you back, Matt. Thank you again for the hat. We're sporting the Crypto Comics love on our head, keeping our head warm in the middle of snowy winter conditions here in Salt Lake. Well, I should say Utah County. When you grow up in Vegas, all of Utah, Salt Lake. St. George and Salt Lake. So yeah, exactly, Jared. Yeah, Jodorowsky's Dune. That's a great documentary. Really fun and entertaining to watch. Spiritual warriors. I want to make a shirt. Jared, we're spiritual warriors. Making this comment. Yes, I did hear about George Perez. I didn't know that Mobius helped create Heavy Metal magazine. I knew that he drew a lot of comics that appeared in there. Him and a whole bunch of other awesome European artists. That was a great comic growing up, Heavy Metal. It was one of the only ways to see what European comics were up to. It was a huge influence on me. I'm just trying to sort of darken this up. If I don't like it, I'll undo. But I figure the hat will be casting sort of a big shadow across his face, so I just sort of want to change a little bit of that lighting. I'm heartbroken over George Perez. George, one of the cool things about working in comics is that you meet some incredibly good people, incredibly nice people. George Perez was one of the genuinely nicest people I've ever met. And you guys are probably saying, well, Chad says that about everyone. But it's sort of true. Jimmy and Amanda are two of the people who I think are some of the best people I've ever met. Mark Wade, extremely kind and talented. Obviously passionate. Gail Simone, Jim Lee, just good people. Everyone's energetic about it. Jared, I don't know if I like that or not. You have to tell me if I'm on the right track. But I've met George at several conventions. There was a few times where we'd go out to eat and he would just unassumedly be there at the convention eating his dinner alone. And there's a few times where I thought about approaching him and inviting him to sit and eat with our group, and I didn't do it because I figured maybe he was tired of like all the fanboys at the shows, and maybe he just wanted that time alone. But he was just so humble, unassuming, down to earth, salt of the earth, kind and genuine, and talented, just unbelievably talented. Thankful to my friend Nick Chavez for introducing us. Oops. I think I accidentally swapped to the eraser brush and then I undid and did it again. But I'm devastated. I'm not a religious person, but if miracles happen and someone's capable of making that happen, I can't think of a person more deserving than him, because he's just someone who's brought a lot of joy and enthusiasm to comics. Unassuming, no ego, just happy, kind, talented, and a great role model to look up to. And I don't want to make it sound like we were good friends. I met him a handful of times at shows, but obviously I was a huge fan of his work growing up. I don't know how you could read comics, be from the 80s, read comics and not know who George was. But definitely someone you look up to, and you just want him and his family to be happy and have everything they want out of life, and to see, to hear the news that he won't be with us much longer, just makes everyone incredibly sad. So, anyway. Let's see. Let's go back to the chat real quick. My big regret is that I didn't take the opportunity to talk with him several years ago when he was at the same convention as us. So, was that Vegas, Jared? Keep going. I still think he looks great. Yeah, thank you. I think I sort of pulled through that rut. I don't know. I'll flip it. I think his head might look a little small, but we'll keep going. George did my favorite run of Wonder Woman. I think the stuff that his favorite stuff that I read was Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then based in the storyline with Marvel with Thanos, with I think Jim Starlin wrote. But yeah, it did feel like a gut punch. So yeah. Anywho, don't mean to be a bummer, but yes, I heard and I wish we could all live forever and just read comics and chill and have a good time. But I guess we got to just be thankful for the time that we have with people. That's what makes life special. And anywho. I need to pump up the size of my brush here with some holding lines. I do care. A lot of these people are heroes to me. And being able to work in the same industries gift. I mean, one of the greatest honors in my life was working with Stan Lee. You know, someone who basically grew up watching Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and all those old Marvel cartoons started, you know, hello, true believers, and, you know, getting to work with him on Traveler with Mark Waid. You know, those are experiences that I'll never forget, and that I'm thankful for, and I'm never forget just every opportunity I've had to meet some of the heroes, artistic heroes. But I basically worship these guys. I mean, really, I shouldn't say that, but I mean, really, I think it's true. You know, comics were like a religion, and I just think the world of some of these people, and George was one of them. Yeah, I like Jonah Hex. So yeah, not too much like Jonah Hex. He's not Confederate. Yeah. So I'm gonna try and focus on the techniques that I'm using. So I should explain a little bit about my process. So Crypto Comics Matt asked why I drew the anatomy and then filled the anatomy in with the gray, and then came in and drew over it again with the line. So this is a process called silhouetting, and we do this process when we're creating concept art for characters. And one of the reasons why we do the silhouettes is so we can get an interesting composition just by the shape and the pose, and to see if it reads. And so, like for example, this can very much easily be the same character design as this design right here, but if you had to look at a character sheet in a proposal, and this was the shape, or this was the shape, which one's the more engaging pose, which one's the more exciting pose, which pose tells more of a story. So so that's the reason. So I'm going for an interesting shape because I want the silhouette to tell a story. I want it to be powerful. I want the pose to be powerful, and it makes more of an impression than just a static pose like this up here. So this whole exercise was just trying to build something that's just a little bit more dynamic than just the boring standing pose. So. Is there a trick to folds and close? I've always had issues with that. So yes, there is. Let me do a little bit of explaining. So everything has what's called pinches and then stretches. Okay, so on this piece of clothing right here, this part's stretching. Okay, this upper arm. This is stretching, and then right here, where the arm is bending at the joint, that's where it's going to pinch. And these clothes are going to fold up. They're going to fold up on each other when they compress. Okay, and that causes sort of like the ripples. I mean, if you look at my, that really looks like a salute. Let's not do that. So if you look at my jacket here, I'm pulling it, and the underneath part stretches when I bring my arm up, and then this part pinches, and when it pinches, these all fold up and sort of bunch up on each other. So So when you're drawing clothes and you're drawing like the drapery that's going around, you got to think of which part is stretching and which part is pinching. So this part right here underneath the armpit, when the arm comes down, look at how it bunches up. And so underneath it's pinching, and then on top of my shoulder it's stretching, and that's basically what's happening. So you just got to think about the clothes and where they pinch and where they stretch. And then one of the things I also like to do is create really thick holding lines around the outline of my character, and then thin detail lines on the inside. So I'll have really thick lines, like you'll notice the lines around the hat. I call these holding lines, also synonymous with the term contour lines. They define the edges of our flat shapes, and so they're thicker, and then when we come in and we add details, the details have a thinner line, and then that helps basically contain, it shows form, it shows edges, and then it contains just different parts inside the costume. I'm going to tuck that in down there. And then you'll notice that on certain parts I'll press my pen down and I'll get a thicker edge, because I like to indicate light direction with like a thicker line. So let me come back up to the chat real quick. It should tell you everything you need to know in one pose. There you go, Jared. So Jared's talking about the silhouette, just the shape of the silhouette. So yeah, it helps to have a good shape in the silhouette before you start inking, because if you can tell what's happening with the shape and the outline of the shape alone, then everything inside that shape is just detail. So it's a trick that was taught to me by Guy Francis. It was also, I had these old timey-wimey books from like Norman Rockwell, the famous artist courses. They used to be mail-in art courses. You can buy the books. They were mail-in correspondence school by Albert Dorn and all the Golden Age illustrators. Norman Rockwell. They had these instructional manuals for art correspondence school. And one of the things they taught about was when you were designing your compositions to design with silhouettes, because if you could tell what was going on just by the shape of the object, your composition was going to be that much stronger when you came in and started adding in the detail lines. So like, for example, with this one, a lot of the details are just sort of straightforward and covered up, and there's not a lot of action. We can't really see the detail of the character. It's just sort of a boring pose, whereas this one, we sort of have the flowing of the cape. You know, he's in an action-ready stance. He has his whip out, and it's just more exciting, more engaging. So it's a part of good storytelling. He looks like a man who's going to get his vampire. That's right. So let's see. Let's finish up the details in here on his bandolier and these stakes, and then let's move on to the next part. It's always important to sort of move along on a good clip. Another thing that's helpful to me, I've been reading a lot of books about mindfulness and focus. Whenever you have a task that you're trying to accomplish, it's always good to only be doing one thing. And I know what you're saying, but Chad, you're streaming and drawing at the same time. Well, I also teach, and part of why I'm doing these videos and recording these processes is so my students can watch them and get an idea of my process and use that process in their art creation, if they choose to do so. They might watch these videos and say, Chad's a jerk and a moron, and I don't want to follow that. I got a better process. That's fine. That's up to them. But if they do want to learn, if they do find them useful, they can They can watch what's going on and glean the information that they want to get out of them, and try that process on their own and see if it's beneficial. But when you're mindful about what you're doing, you do it a lot quicker. And the key is not to get frustrated. So it's a little bit of a meditative technique. When you find your mind wandering, you just gently bring your mind back onto the subject matter, onto the task at hand, and then you just keep moving along. And when you do this, you'll find that your productivity skyrockets. You'll be 20% faster when you try to accomplish your tasks. And you also will avoid being frustrated, which is a good thing, because when you become frustrated and when you become angry with yourself, your productivity drops and you're not as effective. So it's always good to have good mental health and practice these things. Don't get angry when you draw. Be in a mindful state. Avoid distractions. You'll notice that I don't have Netflix on. We do have Pretzel playing in the background. It's playing quietly. And it's just sort of a happy, cheerful beat. And it helps us just keep going and moving at a very healthy, productive pace and not distracting us. I'm going to give that bandolier just a little, I'm going to give it an indication of depth. And then I'm going to come in here and just clean up some of these searching lines or construction lines, whatever you want to call them. And then look, there we go. I think that reads pretty well. Let me just make sure. I want a little bit of a drop shadow, not too much, a little bit of drop shadow on these stakes. So I'm just going to go in and make sure they're consistent. Okay, there we go. All right, let's finish up the cross. See, music, yeah. If you can, when you work as long as you can in complete silence with zero distractions. And then when you find your mind wandering too much, I mean, for me, I usually, after a couple hours of just working in complete silence and focusing as long as I can, you start to go a little stir crazy. And at that point, you know, it's okay to bring in music, audiobooks and things like that. But the whole purpose of mindfulness when you're drawing is just to make sure that you're keeping the task at hand. That's what's keeping your attention, not daydreaming about what's going on in an audiobook, or not getting mad at like a news report, or not focusing on something that's not important, but focusing on the task at hand. I would love to come in here and like do like these little froofy details and things like that. I'm not going to do it. Ah! Sorry. Let's go one more there, because I really want to make sure that I don't overcomplicate the design of the character. And honestly, it's a really complicated design already. I might be creating too many tangents with that. Let me just see here real quickly if I just did. And a tangent is when you have a whole bunch of lines sort of converging on the same point, and you're creating what's called an unintentional effect, unintentional focal point, or you just have things that sort of come together in the wrong way, and it makes the composition confusing, and it can give the wrong impression. So I'm just going to bring that up. I'm going to get rid of those lines I had coming down in the armor. I'm going to have a few little battle marks, some pits, maybe a few scratches. Do a little bit of shading on this side, just to give a little bit of volume and form. Let's see. War Worry. There we go. Yep. Okay. All right, let's finish this hand real quick. It's always good to... Artists don't really have an excuse not to draw good hands, because you should be able to just take a look, make a fist, and gather your own reference. Boom, there we go. Hand done. Let's come in and just get those holding lines nice and thick. Set those boundaries up. Pinch and fold right here at the wrist. A little bit of a plane change. We're going to indicate that with volume. We're adding value, darkening that plane change. Pinches here. And then that should be pretty good for that fist. I'm going to go ahead and add just like a seam, because I want him to appear like he's wearing gloves. And then I'm just going to do a little bit, some value here, just to indicate that plane change again. Okay, that hand's done. Let's come over here and finish the other hand. I want him to be holding the whip, so I need to come in here and make sure that the ropes are all sort of coming out at the same part. Boy, that hand looks wonky. Let me size that down. Bring this back in. Just gonna shave that down just a little bit, correcting a little bit of the anatomy there. Sometimes when you draw something that looks right, and then you come back to it later and it looks wrong. Usually when that happens, it's wrong, and it does need fixing. Just in my experience. So don't ignore that impression. That impression's usually right. Ow! Daggone it. Trying to get this. Nope. Boy, that's not gonna work. When I get quiet, that's because I have to concentrate. So, Todd McFarlane talked about drawing hands. He said something similar. Okay, yeah, there you go. Probably learned that from Todd, Jared. I watched all of his videos growing up. Him and Rob Liefeld, the ones they produced with Stan. So they grabbed all. If you have those VHS tapes, they're golden. It's like they did these videos with Rob Liefeld, Todd McFarlane, and Jim Lee. And those guys must have known that they were going over to Form Image, and they're basically cracking image jokes with Stan right there. Stan completely oblivious to what they had planned. But yeah, those guys were rock stars at the height of their popularity. Turned around overnight, made the second largest comic publisher in North America. DC regained it pretty quickly, but they had to kill Superman to do it. Cool. All right. Looks like we got that hand done. Looks like we got the whip done. I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit on this side. I'm going to add in a Crusader Sword. We're going with a cross motif. Now this was not part of the shape, the silhouette, but I want to make it in there. I want to make sure that that hilt, we were going for the Celtic cross. I'm just going to keep that in there, and then I'm just going to do just a little bit of those straps on his belt coming down and holding that hilt. I'm going to thicken up the holding lines or contour lines, get that in, and then just add a few detail lines to make it read better. I'm really digging the upper body, not digging the head so much. I might have to redraw the head. I'm not going to do it right now. I'll come back to it later. Yeah, the Image comics, right? So good. All those guys are just phenomenal. Okay, I'm going to just real quick. I'm going to minimize my stream window and go back to my Pinterest board that Jared and I made, because we have all of our artistic references up there, and I just want to look at how this is going to play out. And this jacket is sort of tucked in behind. Ooh, got a little cray there. This jacket's tucked in behind the leg. I want a little bit of the hem visible. And then I'm just going to dirty it up just a little bit. Jared said make it a little battle weary. I'm going to have the coat come in over the hammer and then erase that back part of the hilt. And that way the hammer looks like it's going behind the body and not competing with the coat. Going to add just a little bit of bumps to the handle, thicken those contour lines, thicken those holding lines. So once again, synonymous depending on who your editor was, who your art instructor was, what vocabulary you were taught when you went to school. They all pretty much mean the same thing. Okay? So you might hear one person say something or another person say the other things. Oftentimes they're talking about the same things, and that's good to know. Alright, let's see. Keep going. I'm going to just do this. A little bit of a coat underneath. I'm going to have this part of the coat go down below, and then this part come up. Like that. We're going to have this leg out front. So Matt, if you're still with us, once again, those pinches, just like I talked about before, the pinches in the cloth right there. I haven't really designed the legging, but we basically designed, we said that he's going to be wearing a boot. But then we envisioned, just like he has his breastplate, he's going to have a little bit of armor down here, at least on the front, and some pretty majestic looking knee pads. So he should be able to do some pretty vicious MMA style kicks and some floor sliding. And not bang up his knees too bad. I'm gonna do what I call construction lines or searching lines. Come over here, basically duplicate that same form. Wrap that around. I'm gonna have a strap here at the thickest part. It's gonna bunch up behind this. This is where that pinch is gonna show. Leg out front. Bottom that leg, And we're going to have... This is all going to probably mostly be in shadow, so let's come down. We'll do a little bit of folds here. This comes down. A little bit of drop shadow just on these parts. I want this to be really, whoop, daggone it, really pushed back. So I'm going to come in here, and then I'm just going to seal that area up, and then I'm going to fill that and see what I think. Too dark. So instead of, I don't want the values to be that dark, so I'm just going to do some hatching to darken the values, but not have them so distracting that they're just that complete black. Okay, so hatching's a way to get a different value. Just widen that just a little without coming in and dumping that super heavy black. And then I'm just going to come in here and do a little bit of cross hatching, and then maybe just a little bit of a heavier hatch on that side. See if I like that. Okay, I'm liking that better. I'm still not 100% happy with it, but we're gonna just keep going for now. Let's see, we got the Warhammer, we got the spikes, we got a little tiny dagger up in his hat. Looks to be brimming pretty well with weaponry. I'm toying with the idea of maybe like a dagger in his boot. Maybe even a holy water canteen. I should really get some reference on this stuff before making a final decision on it. But I'm gonna, like I said, sometimes it's just fun to draw and see how far you can get a look on your own before pulling in that reference, because that's where the originality comes from. You know, when you're not being too slavish to reference, that's where the energy comes in. And sometimes that's where the fun happens. So let's see. Line. Thank you. Let's see. Let me blow back up my. Let's see. Chili Chapters, loving the line weight already. Thank you so much, Chili. All right, Mecha Jared, maybe lightly shaded. Do it. All right, Jared, I did it. What do you think, buddy? Bring this back up in here. I almost wonder like if we do some type of Okay, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do these line weights. Just darken those up to indicate the light direction. Bolster those holding lines, just come in and reinforce that. A little bit of anatomy there. Then I'm just going to hatch down to give drop shadow to... Is that a tunic? Bring that over. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna create like a heavy drop shadow there. I'm gonna fill that with black and see if that works, because we really need that to start pushing back so we don't lose his legs. Let me do a little bit of erasing here. Ah, wow, that got away from me. This is creating a little bit of a tangent, so for me it's a problem. Let me see, after I drop that in, let's see what we can do to sort of fix that. I'm just going to I'm going to raise that drop shadow just a little bit. And then that way we don't have so many converging lines on the same place. I'm going to also raise... Whoop, sorry, I meant to erase. Okay, so that way I'm sort of staggering these lines, and I'm going to come in here and just sort of... There we go. I'm just hatching. Now, I'm cheating here a little bit. If I was doing this with an ink pen, I wouldn't be able to overdraw. But I'm not. I'm working in Procreate. So I'm allowed to cheat. So that hatching turned out nice, and then I just come in here and erase. And then reinforce that line. Boom. Nice and pushed back. I'm going to go ahead and just do a few little texture lines. I'm going to get that inseam on the inside as well. And then maybe just a little bit of a whoop. And then this is going to come down. A little bit of a fold. Wouldn't hurt me to have someone pose this out, but it's late, I'm tired, I'm out of time, my deadline's coming, I've had a horrible, crappy, cruddy day. Jared's never going to get over the name Procreate. That's funny, because it sounds like rabbits. Alright. Cool, cool, cool. Let's fix this part in here. Yeah, I think we all do. Take a sip here. Uh-oh. We are out of drinky drink. Sorry to be too nice. Need more drinky drink. Gotta get mild caffeine so we can get it. This Twitch stream was brought to you by Diet Dr. Pepper. This shit will give you brain cancer. But, just a little dab will do you. You need to keep a stock on him. Yeah. Little dab will do you. Just a tiny bit. Trying to stay healthy here. I don't want to be up all night. So, just going to add a little bit of ice. See, my drink is gone too, and I am sad. Yep, we don't want to be up all night. Chili chapter, it's just a tiny little sip. I love drinking Diet Dr. Pepper after Rockstar Recovery. It makes like a little suicide in my cup. Suicide, the preferred cocktail of 11-year-olds in skating rinks in Las Vegas, as referenced in Barb and Star Go to Del Mar. You just take all the soda from the soda fountains and just do a little dab. Create yourself a little suicide drink. That movie was incredibly hysterical. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. But only if you have a sophomoric mind like myself and find juvenile humor extremely funny. Which is probably just me. Alright, let's see. Crypto Comics Matt, that's why you add rum. There you go, Crypto Comics Matt. But I'm being a good guy, trying to avoid the alcohols, trying to get healthy. I shouldn't be having the caffeine either. But I definitely appreciate that, and on certain occasions, by all means. But right now, just trying not to get too crazy before bed. I love this little music. What's this music? Let's see. Now playing Recondite by Fine Sue. Are you guys Fine Sue? I'm Fine Sue. Just going to do a little bit of adding to the boots. I'm not sure how fancy I should make the boots. I'm just thinking like plain old leather boots, but maybe these boots were decked out. Once again, reference probably needed. I'm just going to cap the tip so it's not necessarily like a cowboy boot. Just a little bit of form. Come in here, thicken this line up. I imagine the knee plate. Come through there. A little bit of drop shadow, a little bit of drop shadow. More drop shadow on this side. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. Little bit of a plane change there. Can you dig it? I like it. Alright. A little more of a drop shadow. Value change right here. Let's see. Worn leather boots. Plus shizzle. You know, I hate to say this, but his pant legs look a little bare. Like, I hate to just add crap for the sake of adding crap. Let me just add a few little... Maybe if I just did like I did with the... I'm going to erase this just a tad. Just add some fabric folds. I think that did it. I was sort of toying with like maybe putting in more weapons on him, but I didn't want him looking like Cable. Not a diss on Cable. I like Cable. I just don't think Van Helsing needs to be brimming with weapons. Or, I'm sorry, Reiner. Just give them a press seam. That's right. Maybe add another stake. Nah. Let's do a drop shadow here. Just a little hem. Let's put this, make it a little droppy, drop. Okay, there's that. Do the same over here. A little bit for that. Come in underneath. Just add a little bit to that fold. Maybe even a little bit of line underneath here. Some hatching. Just help give it volume. A little hatching over here. Some in that pinch. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, let's finish that. At first I thought we weren't going to see that, but now we are, so let's make sure that comes up underneath. Okay, there we go. Boom, bada boom, bada boom, bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. Drop shadow on this knee pad. I know that's not what they're called. There's technical names to the armor. I'm going to do a little bit of a reflected light right there, just so that doesn't appear so anemic. I'm going to push that back with some hatching, just to make sure that it goes back in distance. I'm digging it. Jared, what do you think, buddy? Is it coming together? Is it better than you imagined? Is it worse than you imagined? Okay, we have the inside of the foot here, so we need to do the arch. Clink. Fold on that leather. Little fold right there. Tip of that leather boot. Come through. Clink. Sort of messed that up on that last stroke, didn't I? There we go. I'm going to add just a little bit of a drop shadow in here. I don't want it to appear like he's floating. Now remember, Matt, yeah, Shin. Well, there's another armorer name for it too, but yes, shin guard, knee pad. It's too late. My brain's too dead, and I didn't sleep last night. I can't think. Tomorrow it'll come to me, or 4 a.m. it'll come to me, and I'll sit up in bed and be like, "That's the name." But not tonight. I won't. Not tonight. Okay, there's that. Let's do a little bit more of a line weight here to indicate depth. A little bit of a drop weight here, or drop shadow there. Maybe just a little bit of a drop shadow there, some hatching. Maybe just a little bit of hatching this away. There we go. Okay, I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to adjust my silhouette. Just going to tighten it up for presentation. Once again, so I'm messed that up. Doing this not only for Comics Elite, because my character designs are due for promotional purposes, also doing this as part of a demonstration for my digital painting students for their character concept design. I'm going to go ahead and just take that out. Getting a little too close. There we go. So I'm not erasing like my former designs. I'm going to keep them all on the same sheet. Oops, where'd that? There we go. There we go. Just cleaning up that silhouette. What did I say, Jared? Chili Chapter's got it. A grieve. That's what it's called. Thank you. Yeah. Jared, what did I say? Did I mess up? Did I say MB artist? I messed that up a couple of Twitch streams ago too. I meant to say MB artist and I said artist elite. Comics Elite. Oh, well, I was close. Thanks, Jared. Need to have you on all the time, buddy. Otherwise, I'm just gonna. Whoa! What happened there? Foot and mouth. Oh. Otherwise, it's gonna be foot and mouth the whole time. Ah, Chad. Okay, I'm getting super tired. Cleaning this all up. Ooh. That's sort of weird. I think my iPad just got brighter. Yes. Yes, 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 Jared. And this is all just for presentation purposes. So actually what I'm going to do when I'm done sort of correcting that, and I think that's looking pretty good. There's a few spots. I could spend some time adding little touches and details. I could come back in and add a highlight layer, but I do need to color this, especially for my digital painting students. I need to show them how to, you know, take it to a finish, like especially if they want to digitally paint it. Yeah, I'm happy with it too, Jared. I think it's looking really good. You know what? I'm noticing just a little bit of detail that I forgot to put in on the belt. So let's go back to our next layer. Let's make sure we're on the right layer. Okay, we are. And then I just, oh, holy cow. I'm going to turn down my brush size there and just add a few of these details. I'm going to get rid of these construction lines that are sort of causing confusion here. Ooh, got a little bit of a tangent. Let me just add a drop shadow. Hopefully that cleans things up just a little. Bring that edge down more. Finish that edge, close that. A little bit of a drop shadow there. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Doing those lines looks like a really delicate yeah, mama. Sort of, it does get a little hypnotic. You'll notice that I sort of phase out and I just lose myself in the drawing. I call that getting in the zone. I'm digging it though. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I'm just gonna keep adding. You know what? I need to do a few more little checks here. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna turn my shadow layer off, so I just have the drawing. And then I'm gonna come in here. I'm just gonna thicken these lines. Make sure that the line art stands up on its own, 100%, with no value behind it. A little bit more hatching. I'm going to go ahead and just darken that out all the way. That way it's consistent with this other side. Just a little bit more. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Oh, Chad. Chad, silly Chad. Pump up that. I love how Procreate snaps to that line when you need it to. That's a really handy tool. So once again, I'm just going in. I've turned off my silhouette layer, and I am focusing on my line. Now, just for my digital painting students who are going to watch this demo, one of the reasons I'm focusing a lot on... I'm focusing a lot on line. But you got to remember, I'm doing this for a comic book. Okay, so I'm going for a specific look. If you're doing this for a video game, you might not necessarily want to use this process. You might want to just be a lot more sketchy with your line, and then come in and just paint directly over it. But for me, this works. I'm going for that comic book look, and I have a little bit of a process. You can watch it and invent your own process, or you can just follow mine and see if you like it or not, and if you do, use it on future projects. Just getting that done. Okay, that's looking a lot better. Well, because it's a comic book, yeah. Let's see, hold on, let's see. We writers have a similar thing we do. Do you have any tips for making straight lines not look sterile? It's especially bad when trying to do backgrounds. Like, do you mean on Chili Chapters? Can you be more specific? Do you mean like on perspective on buildings? Let's see what Chili Chapters replies to. Okay, that's holding up nice, zoomed out. So when I zoom out like that, I'm just checking to see how it looks zoomed out. It's an old artist trick. Another thing we can do, I haven't done this yet, this is going to be terrifying. The flip. You know what, I think it held up pretty well, but I'm glad I did it. I'm seeing a few areas where I've got a tangent here. I'm going to bring this up. We've got to treat that really delicately. And then I want this line to have a lot more weight. Trying to avoid those tangents. This ellipse is bothering me. Your ellipse should never be pointed. Add a little bit of drop shadow underneath this chain, and then reinforce this line. There we go. There's a song. Do your chain hang low? Does it waggle to and fro? Oh look, forgot that side. Come in here and finish that up. This is really thank you, sir. First time chat from viewer. And this skills want to become famous. Oh man. Daggone it, we're getting hacked. The flip. I know Chili Chapter's right. Where's our robot mod to bot all these, or to bump all these bots? Sorry, it's probably pretty rude of me to chew ice on the stream, but nope. No, sir, I don't like it. Once in a blue moon, Chad. Author J Mac. That's right. We're trying to get back into a regular rhythm. COVID sort of threw us off our rhythm. School got crazy. Vaccines, no conventions. Pencils down orders from major publishers. So, but we're trying to find our groove back. So, please come and join us. Oof. I'm not liking the hat. We got problems with the hat. I want to fix just a few of these. Do you like that better? I'm liking everything but the head. I'm actually sort of liking the hat too. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to hide this layer. I'm going to come in. I'm going to redo my face. Blah, blah! No! Ah! Blink man. Yeah. Let's see. I think I'm okay with the hat now. We'll see we'll see if I still like it when I flip it back, Jared. Let's try this though. I'm at a disadvantage. Because I'm drawing without my construction lines. Bottom of the ear should line up with the bottom of the nose. Top of the ear should line up with the brow. Boy, I'm really hating this too. Alright, hold on. We're going to try something else. This is a trick I picked up from buying original art from Adam Hughes. When you aren't liking something, just draw an alternate out to the side. Don't try and save something that looks terrible. It's called polishing a turd. Destroy it. Erase it from existence, come back and draw it better and stronger, and draw it right. Never commit to shitty artwork. Oh, daggone it. I'm not supposed to say that, am I? You know, I sort of dig that. It has a John Buscema feel. And it does feel a little bit more like Peter Cushing. Just subscribe. See upside down question mark, right side up down question mark. Thank you. I did. Daggone it. So bad at drawing faces while the construction. Yeah. Yep, we just lost all of our money off YouTube. Bummer, man. That's a bummer. There's a beverage involved, man. Three, two, one. We're singing along with Arclight by Boss Machina. Ooh. If you're curious, our music is brought to us by Pretzel on OBS Streamlabs. It's a lot of fun. If you stream, make sure that you get your groove on. He's looking a little old, but we're just going to call that grizzled. And I did like how the other one had the hair. So I'm going to just turn the size of my brush down. Turn the size of my eraser down. I'm not digging this eye as much as I dig the other eye. Y'all ready for this? Oh, this is Dirty Socks, sorry. Oh, yeah, Chad needs to go to bed. He's losing it. He's losing it, man. Okay. So I drew this face to the side. I'm going to come in here. Plasma. Dog plasma. Okay, so let's see here. Select. Boink. Copy. Boink. Come on. Come on. Whoa! Gestures. Paste. Okay. Shrinky dinky. Tommy likey. Tommy want wingy. All right, here we go. Oh, oops, wrong layer. Sort of looks like Harrison Ford a little bit too. Can you dig it? Okay, so his ears are different, so I'm going to go ahead and just nuke. Nuke that. Okay, so I've merged those layers so they're on the same layer now. Ah, Chad, no. Drop shadow under the chin. A little bit of neck. Just gonna erase. And then come back. Ooh, I sort of like the pepper, salt and pepper. Salt and pepper hair, that's a little fun. Happy accidents. Let's see, this face that you're gonna make when the client asks for no. Perfectly. What? Pornhub on desktop. What? Author. Huh. I don't know what that means, bud. Let's see. And then we just go back in and add that shadow that we took out. Okay. I like that a little bit better. Let's go ahead and select this. Cut. Paste. Hide. Alright, now it's the flip test. Okay, I like it. I see some issues, but we're going to work with them. Okay, I'm going to size my brush down, reinforce that eyebrow. I'm going to come in and hatch to drop the value down. Thank you. So Chili Chapter says this is the face you're... Oh, okay. I remember that. I think we found the design. Yeah. And Chili Chapter says I quite like the mouth expression. Yeah. He looks a little bit older, a little bit more wizened. Sort of pulling into, you know, all the Peter Cushing, Hugh Jackman, and a little bit of Harrison Ford. I'm going to give him a little bit of stubble, and then I'm going to just come in here, just do a little bit more value. Okay, I'm digging it. I think the head looks a little small, so I'm just going to do one more tweak, and then I think I'm going to call it good. I'm just going to ever so slightly nudge that up. Looks a lot more proportionate now. Oh, and I got the wrong tool. Got the wrong tool again. Okay. And there I think we have it. One last detail. I want to do a drop shadow. I'm going to add a layer. Come in, and then I'm just going to do like that to indicate the back part of his jacket. Come in there like that. And drop that in. Whoa! That didn't work the way I wanted it to. Let's see. Hold on. Where? Oh, right here. Let's try that again. There we go. Take this. Turn the opacity down. Clear. 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 Let's turn the opacity on that back up. Daggone it. Didn't realize that sort of came in. Jeez, Chad. So close to going to bed. If I could just focus long enough to get this done. Deadlines wait for no man. No man! You must hit your deadline! Just gonna break up that shadow just a little bit. Give it a little character. Whoa! Chatty boy. Let's try that again. No! Man, what? One more time? Yay! Never thought of using negatives in shadow to show texture. Yeah! You can do it a lot easier digitally than you can traditionally, but even traditionally you can come in with Pro White. And it'll do the trick. A little dab will do you. Let's see. I am hearing the Simon Belmont. There we go. Cool, cool, cool. And then let's just keep this shadow going. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring that in just so it sort of contours. Get rid of that line there. Come on, come on. There we go. Just going to add a little bit of just sort of a jagged edge in here. And then maybe just a little bit of rounding right through here. Drop, drop, drop. Whoa, Chad! Yay, Chad. There we go. I'm just going to leave that little sliver. I sort of like the little character that makes. And then I'm going to come in here and just block out all these little gray lines. And then I'm going to erase that. Okay, nice little drop shadow. Maybe just a little bit of a indication of this. And then I'm just going to dissipate it out. I'm completely just making all of this up. It's not an accurate drop shadow at all. I'm just trying to make it look sort of stylistic. I can't even talk. Stylistically cool. Okay, there we go though. Can you dig it? I can dig it. Let's come in here and add some flicks. I call this Starfield. Boink, boink. Just a little bit of texture. Boink, boink. Come in here with the negative. Starfield. Splatter, splatter. Let's see. Do a little bit more. A little splatter down here. Boink, 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 boink. Boink, boink, boink. Little texture. Little dab will do ya. Let's get just a little bit more. There we go. turn this up. Just do the boink, 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 boink. Not too much, not too much. And then we'll just do a little bit of cleanup. Did I do that on the same layer? Okay, good, I didn't. Clear. I actually sort of like that. Whoop! I meant the select tool. Boink. 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 Clear. What just happened? I hit alpha lock instead of clear. That's what happened. I think we are done, friends. I think we are done. I think that's our hero. Okay. So at this point, just a little bit of a recap. Let's go back in. Let's add our... Oop, nope. That's a layer that we don't want. Okay, so... Oh. Let's fix this. Come back in here. Now that we got this. Okay. Oh, Chad. No, Chad, no. Very bad. Bad man. Let's see. Cool, cool. Hey, Crypto Comics, man, I will take that as a compliment, sir. Ah, man, I'm in desperate need of sleep. We got to shut this down, guys. There we go. Okay. Okay, just a little recap though. Okay, so we start with the silhouettes. We start with the action poses. Once we nailed down sort of the design we liked, we started adding clothing and detail. We experimented with options like thickness of boots, steampunk, respirator, whip, and maybe just a little bit more of a simplified design, a little bit with the coat. This was the design that we ended up going with, but the anatomy was too far off for my liking. So, so I just came in and did one final revision where I basically cleaned up the anatomy, made the anatomy make a little bit more sense. And then we've come in now and we have a final drawing over our silhouette that is ready for flat coloring. And then after flat coloring, we're ready for renders. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope you enjoyed, you know, getting to watch the process. I'm going to turn this into the Artist Elite folder. I might do just a little bit of a rearranging of the silhouettes, but I'll do that on my time and not your time. We'll come back later and we'll do more character designs. We get to we still need to design Count Darius. Am I saying that right, Jared? Help me out. I'm really tired. It's nappy nap time for Crunkle Chad. Let me read this scene. Me watching Chad stream my internet, so you have chosen death. I'm sorry. Amazing stream, lots of great takeaways. Hey, I hope you guys found it educational. I hope this helps you, like when you're designing your comic characters or any characters for your IP, characters for commissions, characters for Dungeons and Dragons campaigns. If this gives you ideas and makes you a better artist, job well done. I think. Oh, you know what? You gotta sign it, guys. You gotta sign it. Whoa! Not the right layer. Ooh, that's really big. There we go. There's that. I'll upload this to the Comic Elites folder. And mission accomplished, folks. Thank you for being here. Jared confirmed Count Darius. So we still need to design Count Darius. We still need to design his sidekicks, which are going to be the wives of Count Darius. All right. So, i.e., sexy vampire chicks. Woo! So, so if you want your sexy vampires, come back for more. We'll be designing Count Darius, and or Chapter 2 of our character design project. Everybody have a good night. Get some rest. Happy holidays. We'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.